What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a sensational Liverpool transfer news video, because after yesterday Liverpool were linked with signing Adam Wharton next summer, the Crystal Palace midfielder. Today it's an even better story because the Mirror newspaper and various other journalists are reporting in various newspapers that Liverpool are putting plans in place to sign Carlos Baleba, one of the best young defensive midfielders in the Premier League, and Liverpool are pushing to sign him in January. So we don't want to wait until next summer, where there will be a lot of clubs eyeing Baleba. We want to get this deal done in January, so to get ahead of other clubs. Man United were interested in Baleba, but they didn't want to pay Brighton's asking price. And of course, Liverpool already spent £420 million on 7 or 8 sensational players, but we didn't sign a defensive midfielder, and that's still a position which of course Liverpool are interested in, because we almost signed Zubimendi 1 summer ago. He decided to stay, and 1 year later he went to Arsenal. But now Liverpool, it looks like, have found their perfect number 1 transfer target, and that could be Carlos Baleba. And the fresh reports are that Liverpool are already making concrete steps, contacting Baleba's agent and representatives to see what kind of transfer deal and what kind of contract Liverpool could do. Of course, Baleba was heavily linked with Man United, and Liverpool also were thinking about swooping in, but in the end it would have been just too much, like spending more than 500 million on would have been absolutely crazy. But Liverpool can more than afford it, because Liverpool are still in a very healthy position when it comes to the PSR rules and regulations, and Baleba's signature would cost more than £100 million. The exact figure is still a little bit unknown, but Liverpool are pursuing a deal for Baleba in January, and this source previously cited the Athletic's David Ornstein that besides Man United, Liverpool were interested in Baleba in the summer, but Man United's interest didn't materialize in a bid, or even though Baleba actually told Brighton that he wants Brighton to listen to offers from Man United. So if he would be interested in going to Man United, imagine how much he would be interested in going to Liverpool, because Liverpool are a much better place. Man United are in 14th place, back again in that same position that they finished in last season. So let's see what comes of these reports, but it's very exciting and very interesting. And Baleba is only 21 years old, and he's already an established Premier League player. He just began his 3rd season in the Premier League. He played 37 games in his first season, and then in his second season he added goals and assists to his game, because at Brighton he scored 4 goals and got 2 assists in 40 games. As a defensive midfielder, that's not his main job, of course, but he has been absolutely fantastic. And also, he came through the Lille Youth Academy, and he plays for Cameroon. That's the one downside for Baleba, is that he is playing for an African country. So at AFCON, at the Africa Cup of Nations, Baleba also goes away on international duty. But Baleba has had a meteoric rise and very quick rise through the ranks, because he only played 1 full season with Lille, playing actually just 21 games before Brighton signed him, and the rest is history. He became an established world-class midfielder. Remember that Baleba was the Caicedo replacement, and it's crazy how Brighton are doing this. They signed Caicedo for peanuts, they sell him for 105 million, and now they signed Baleba for like very little money, I think 15-20 million, something like that, and they could sell him for another 100 million. So this model that Brighton are using, buying really talented players, developing them and selling them on for a huge profit, is actually fantastic. And I really hope that Brighton make Europe, because their fans, they absolutely deserve it, and they are playing very nice football. And Baleba is also a fantastic midfielder. He can not just disrupt the play, but he can spread the ball around. His passing range is fantastic, and also, as I said, already just 21 years old, already very experienced Premier League player. So he would be a fantastic addition. I'm sure that many of you guys are already aware of his talents and how much he could improve Liverpool, and he could rotate and alternate between, Gravenberch and Baleba, and we could have the Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Baleba midfield with Curtis Jones as well sprinkled in. Liverpool Liverpool's midfield is set for the next 5, 6, 7 years. With Baleba, he could actually play for Liverpool for 10 years without any problems, and he will only get better with experience, with age. He's only 21 years old, I can't stress that enough. So he's like 3 or 4 years younger than Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and McAllister. And Brighton manager recently spoke about the interest in Baleba. He said, I think it's normal for a young player when the media creates the noise around him. It's not easy for this player to handle it. Therefore, we need to give him time and support so he comes back to his best performance. But he's a young player, and I think that's something we have to accept, that young players don't always have the face we want to see. It's our responsibility to help them in the right moments. I think everyone gets affected, especially when you are that young and you hear these kind of things, no matter if they are wrong or right, but it's just noise we don't need. Baleba definitely had his head turned by these rumors to Man United, because I'm sure growing up Baleba didn't dream about playing for Brighton. They didn't even know probably Brighton existed, but he definitely dreamed about playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. And Man United, even though they are down in the dumps recently, they are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. So of course a player like Baleba would be interested in Man United, but he would be even more interested in Liverpool, I'm sure. So if Liverpool can come up with the money, I think it's a no-brainer transfer, because Brighton are a selling club. They wouldn't stand in the way of Baleba if the right price is paid for Baleba. So that is very, very interesting. It all depends on the price, because Liverpool only sign players if they think that the value actually aligns with the value that Liverpool think the player is worth. So for example, we thought Alexander Isak is not worth 150 million. And if Newcastle wouldn't have sold for less, then that's a transfer Liverpool wouldn't have done. But because Newcastle were willing to sell for 125, we made the deal. Just like with Hugo Ekitike, Liverpool thought, 65, 70 million pounds is a fair value for Ekitike, and it showed so far. Liverpool have been absolutely justified in spending this kind of money on these players. The jury is still out on Florian Wirtz, but he's a fantastic player. I'm a huge fan of him. So just give him time and see him flourish in the Premier League. So Baleba's contract runs until 2028, but it remains to be seen whether the club would be willing to sell the midfielder next year, after insisting he was not for sale this summer. But sooner or later Brighton will have to change. We have to change their stance, because they can't keep these players like Baleba forever, because they would actually lose out on a lot of money if Baleba goes on strike and doesn't train. This summer showed that players can force through transfers to happen. And what's actually interesting is Baleba's role model growing up was Thiago Alcantara, of course ex-Liverpool player as well, and his passing range holds comparison, because Baleba has 82% pass accuracy in the opposition half last season to help Brighton in transition, which is really, really good. So that's not in your own half, but in the opposition's half. To have 82% pass accuracy is actually fantastic, and Ruben Amorim views him as a perfect midfielder. I'm sure that Liverpool view him as an ideal candidate as well for the midfield. As I said, it all depends on the price and what kind of price would Brighton ask for Baleba. But I just wanted to cover this story because I think it's fascinating that already, even though the transfer window has been shut for 2 weeks, Liverpool have been linked with fantastic midfielders. So it looks like Liverpool's next transfer wishlist target is defensive midfielders. So I will keep you guys updated on my channel. And I also wanted to talk about Hugo Ekitike. He gave a fantastic interview recently of his start to his Liverpool career. He said, I think I adapted well to my new team and to the Premier League. I still have, of course, things to improve, but I think it was a good start. Just to interject here, 3 goals in the first 3 games. That's not just a good start. That's a fantastic, marvelous start. Because no Liverpool player has scored in his first 4 games. So that means that Ekitike set a record. Not broke the record, but set the record, equaled the record, as they say it. So they equaled the record of the best start you can have to a Liverpool career, scoring in your first 3 games. That's fantastic. And Ekitike said, I feel good with the guys. They helped me to adapt here. So obviously they make my football easier. And when you play with good players like this, you can improve and you can have success like that. The most important thing is to continue to be consistent. it's good to be compared to Sturridge. I know he had been a great player here at Liverpool, so it's good that I want to do my best to do better than him. My mindset is play with the best players in the world. It helps you to get better. All together, all the players, we are going to reach even a better level together. What a fantastic mindset by Hugo Ekitike, and I absolutely love him to bits. He's such a fantastic player. I love his vision, his playing style, his awareness. And what do you think about Konate replying to some Anfield Liverpool fan site, saying if Konate plays like he played in the first 2 games of the Premier League season, then I will have no issue wishing him well if he decides to leave at the end of the season. He said this about the last 2 games, so against Arsenal and against Burnley, Konate played fantastic. And Konate replied to this comment, praising him, that the problem is some of you forget too quick, only after 2 games. And also the comment said Liverpool would love to renew Konate, but it feels unlikely at the moment. I'm not sure it's a good idea for Liverpool players or any footballer to publicly comment on social media posts like this, but it shows that nowadays players are on social media. They read everything, they see everything, so be very, very careful what you say online, because some Liverpool players could read it. So don't put too much pressure on them. Don't post hateful comments towards any player. Of course, you can criticize them, but in an educated and in a respectful way. So don't disrespect the players, because that really, really hurts them, because they are human beings, even though they earn millions of pounds a year. That hurts, and it might discourage them from staying at Liverpool for a long time if too many Liverpool fans abuse these players disrespectfully, I mean. But also, reacting to fans who support you like that is not the best idea by Konate. And also to have the audacity to even reply to something about your contract is probably the worst part here, because this angered quite a lot of Liverpool fans. It's better to just stay silent and let your game do the talking on the pitch. Leave your contract speculation to the side. Maybe he misunderstood this post as criticism when it was actually praising him for the last 2 games, how fantastic he was. Even I misunderstood at the beginning, so that's no fault of Konate, to be honest. And of course, he is allowed to have an opinion. He can post that opinion. I'm just not sure if it's the best to post it publicly on social media, because then some fans will of course react to that, and it's going to be interesting. Where do you sit on this? Where do you sit on the fan? Do you sit on the fans? Are you on the side of some people saying Konate is free to speak, and he's free to speak. I mean, he is free to comment on any speculation, any rumors. Is that advisable for players to do that publicly? I'm not sure, because that's a gray area for me. So let me know which camp do you sit in the comments below, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, see you later, goodbye.